I have an article here from Steven Crowder's Mug Club. Every time I say it, it comes out like Mud Club, but it's his website. Well, actually, that's like his, I don't know, VIP members thing for his Louder with Crowder website. I think he started that back in, April? Maybe February? It's really taken off. He's got a bunch of hosts. It's really good. Anyway, I'm going to read over some of this and just look at it. Former ESPN host exposes what it's really like trying to interview Biden. That's why he was in his basement the whole election. God, interviewing Biden. Can you imagine? My thing about it is, like, she's going to probably talk about him being senile, but, I mean, I'd hope to meet the senile Biden who just drifts off and rambles on about nonsense, because before that, before he got senile, he's evil. He's a pathological liar. I've made one or two videos about his career of being a liar, but I'd rather meet senile Biden than the real Biden. I mean, it's all in there. You see it every time. I mean, he just has a handicap now that he didn't before. But anyway, go into this. This says, Sage Steele was a host on ESPN before she got sick of their leftist bull. They used another word, but I'm not going to say it. Then there was a lawsuit that just got settled in August, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't say whether that was directed at her or just against ESPN. But she's trying to rebuild her career, and she went on Bill Maher's Club Random show, or his podcast anyway. I think he's got another show. This may be just his podcast, but I don't know. Anyway, she was like giving some insight what it's like to interview him, and Bill Maher's talking with her about it. I have only seen snippets of the video. There's a video in here. I'm not going to play that though, but if it'll even let me. Yeah, it will, but she says she shares a story of before the interview when the people who run Biden had to prop him up and explain where he was and why he was talking to people. They literally do that. I mean, you've seen that like in other videos where he has to be directed and told what is going on. Some of that is, every politician, every leader, they have handlers. That's probably the wrong word. They have aides who deal with some of the details while they're more of the big picture type of a guy. So let me be fair and say that everybody, whether pretty much every politician has some of that going on. They give them the typical advice, their advisors as well, be like, don't say this thing, or say this thing, or this is the person you're talking to, and this is what they do during an interview, and blah, 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 blah. And good talk people and good leaders will do a bunch of research their own, but they have to spend a lot of time on being the big picture guy, and they're being a good talker. So they have aides that handle a lot of the minute details and some of the research and background and all that. So let me be fair and say that. But Biden absolutely relies on these people. He has no idea. I mean, you see it in the videos. He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't. They have to even direct him over things he should not have to be told what to do. It'd be one thing if they're reminding him of something that's easy to forget, but he's gone. He's completely gone. If you look at the video, it's just his Sage Steele Club Random with Bill Maher. You probably could find it on YouTube. I think this links to, this is on YouTube, so you could see it. About 30 minutes in, they start to talk about how racist, woke, white progressives are. Now, this is one thing I've noticed is a lot of black people now are catching on to the fact that woke white progressives are basically manipulating them. They've been using the race issue for decades, and they're very over the top pretty much now. They're like, we own you, and you need to do this, and that's how they come across, and they flip out if you don't. And then she goes on to say that Biden reliving his alleged former gridiron glory, and then she's like, here's the saddest thing, his voice just trailed off. He said, I was good, and then he went silent, and he goes, never mind. And then she made her realization that I thought it was so sad because I realized that's why he was in the basement during the whole election cycle, because even then he couldn't finish his sentences. He struggled. So forget about the politics. I don't care. I didn't vote for him. However, that made me sad. And then that was 2020. And then it carried on in 2021 with and they got another video of Biden basically just drifting off into wherever one's brain goes when you're senile. Now, I have some memory problems myself. I'm not young anymore, and some of that does come for you. And it's the worst thing when you try to get into a debate with somebody, or just in whatever situation you're talking and you're trying to use anecdotes and recall experiences and tell stories and all that, and especially in a debate that relies on being able to quote relevant information, statistics, and whatever else. You want to support your argument, and it's just the worst thing when you go to do something that you experienced or statistic and then it goes away. It is literally like having something dangled out in front of you and you go to reach it and it just drifts off, and you can see it just disappear and just go away, and you can't control that. You can't access that. You can't reach out and grab it like you would normally do. So we're all going to experience that to some degree. It's just that's what happens with age. Problem with Biden is he's really hammered by it. He is just gone. And apart from the physical, obvious problems, the guy can't walk. He walks like he's got something rammed up inside him. Allegedly. Or that he's stepping on tacks or something. I don't know. I mean, look at him. Just right now, go on, or not right now, but, afterwards, just Google Biden or use another platform, even better than Google. Try using another search engine like Brave, DuckDuckGo. But anyway, just look up Biden walking. Go on Rumble, the website Rumble, which is like YouTube, and look for Biden walking and just see how he walks. But anyway, I'd be fine with him not walking great. We've had a president who ran office from a wheelchair, at least most of the time. I don't care about that. What I care about is your mental capacity to handle emergencies and be a leader. And this guy has sold himself on being a leader. It's a complete lie. He's just a career politician. He's a complete liar. He's not an idea guy. He's not. This is the thing. It's the same thing with Obama. These guys make careers out of tearing down what others have done. That's leftism. If you'll notice, leftism doesn't really have a platform. Almost everything about leftism and liberalism is essentially criticizing what came before, or tearing down what others have built, and criticizing and tearing down rising stars and those who've earned something. That's what they do. They build a career out of tearing down monuments and making symbolic gestures to show that how progressive they are and everything. So that there's really not anything to it. Taking rights, talking about all these different issues, and it's just they don't really have a platform. So, and that was Obama as well. He didn't really have any ideas. He didn't know how to be a leader. He didn't, he's a talker, and he criticizes and tears people down. Well, Biden is the same. Biden is Obama. And when you realize that, this guy doesn't really know how to lead. He just knows how to end, whatever programs, or make, to suggest things that are basically just tearing down what others have done. They don't really have anything. So, and then you consider that this guy, when he's 100% fully functioning, is not a leader. He's not anything. He's just a crap talker. Tears down what others have built, and just like, we need to change this, but he doesn't have any ideas that are real. So, at his best, he sucks. Now add to the fact that he is senile as hell, and he's just mentally gone, and then you got essentially an empty suit. Not essentially, he is an empty suit. And he's putting out policies and making decisions, so it's not really so much even coming from him, although he has moments. Like Afghanistan was his moment. I'll go harp on that more later, but he's surrounded by people. He's being handled. And it's more than just them telling him what direction to walk off stage, or who he's talking about, or what state he is in, or what country he is in. He's being told what to do. He's being proposed ideas, and then being told which to pick. Somebody is putting a pen in his hand and saying, sign this. And you think this guy's reading over all that, 100 pages of whatever, or a dozen pages? No. He's napping all through the day. I saw some photos where he had mask lines over his face, where he was using evidently a CPAP and all that. And I didn't, have a particular problem with the fact he's using a CPAP or having to get oxygen in the middle of the day. Again, I don't care what state his body is in. I care about what state his mind is in. Or I would with any other, president. You would hope that the guy who's leading us is not insane or just gone, but he's gone. And this guy at his best, again, he's a liar. He's a pathological liar. He's one of the worst freaking people. He's a union leader. That's all he is. He's like a old school union leader, like Jimmy Hoffa. I mean, pathological liars, corrupt as hell, manipulator, racketeer. He's definitely been involved in criminal proceedings. I mean, to say otherwise is hard to, all the Hunter Biden stuff. Come on. Way back, I knew that was 100% true, because you just look at his track record. The guy's corrupt as hell. So Sage Steele is, observing what a lot of us have noticed. And certainly a lot of hosts like Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, and others have noticed how evil Biden is, and how, but he's senile as hell. If this were happening to anyone, it'd be sad. I mean, you hate to see this kind of thing. And I've had a little bit of it myself, so I can empathize with the not being able to catch that dangling memory or thought or statistic when you need it. That really sucks. But, Bill Maher's an interesting character. I'll have to say this. He's You would think I'm hesitant to use the word changed his politics or changed his views. I think he's a dyed in the wool liberal. So let's make that clear. He has taken some stands on some issues, though, that I definitely agree with. A lot of conservatives agree with. So he is observant of a lot of the radical ideas and just incompatible notions of conservative Islam. He had some models or guests or somebody go on his show who are women who are wearing hijabs and the and burqas and everything, and they did a fashion show, and of course they're all wearing the exact same thing, the complete coverings. It might have been the chador. I don't know. I don't remember. It was a while back, but they were doing like a joke, fashion show, and they're all wearing the same thing. So you couldn't tell who was wearing it, the stuff, because you're wearing basically a black sheet over you. And you're just making an observation about the incompatible ideas of Islam with Western culture and civilization, unless you're a moderate. I mean moderate by even our standards, or not even our standards, but moderate by our standards, but very definitely moderate for their standards. I mean, you go to the Middle East, there are a couple countries that are fairly, I wouldn't use the word liberal, they're fairly relaxed in their observation. You go to UAE, United Arab Emirates, or there are a few, and I know some moderate, truly moderate Muslims. So I'm not going to trash talk the entire religion or an entire peoples. I would say there is a place for moderate Muslims. Some of them are more appreciative of the benefit of Western culture and America than America. Certainly some of these individuals I'd take any day over most liberals. A lot of people use the term leftist, and they say that that's different than liberals. Liberals made leftists. So Bill Maher can take moderate positions, and he can stand out against trans garbage and all that. He empowered, if not created, a lot of this. They dangled their feet and accepted communism. And some can say they're socialists or whatever. You're communists, and you're putting into place essentially Marxism, whatever version of Marxism you want. It'll have its own flavor, but it's essentially what these people are. And people like Meyer have for years been promoting anti-Western ideas and notions, and suddenly he's reversing course on some of these issues. Well, that's very convenient. Thanks. I appreciate that he is, and if this is any kind of true change, then more power to them. That's great. But he should take some responsibility. People like him, and including him, created this monster. And I have to wonder whether some of this stuff that he talks about, do they realize that it's Pandora's box and they released the deadly disease and they're trying to do damage control? Or is it that he is trying to sense where the wind is going? And I'm not the first person to observe that, that they appear to be aware that they created a monster and they're trying to do damage control on it. Because really, if it keeps going, especially if nobody conservative becomes president, and just the current trend that is happening in the entire West, not just the United States, if it continues, there's not going to be a Western civilization. It'll be done. So Anyway, I hope he continues. I hope he continues to be the move more towards the right. And if he has the sense of honor to point out, the realities, then that's great. I appreciate it. I hope he takes responsibility for being part of it. But that's great. I'd rather see that than the opposite for sure. Anyway, just some of my thoughts, and I will talk to you guys later.